Hi, everyone, and welcome to your virtual lunch break. I know so many of you are stuck at home alone during what would usually be your lunch break. And, maybe you can no longer take that coffee run and go out to lunch with your friends and you just want to get away from your kids. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to spend your lunch break with you. Every week, I'll be doing a live stream just like this one during the lunch hour, interviewing someone I've worked with, or someone that I'm acquainted with that I know can deliver some type of value to each and every one of you. Other entrepreneurs, solopreneurs that have gone above and beyond to making their dreams a reality. So keep an eye out for upcoming workshops in May in this group, Monetize Your Passion Society, like our virtual free cooking class held by an Epicure consultant on May 7th, quarantine yoga on May 21st, and a breathwork class that has yet to be announced on May 28th. Amazing things are about to happen. So today we have Catherine, the social selling maven. Last year, she was a client of mine, helping her with some copywriting for blog posts, social media management, things like that. She's been a great contact to have ever since, keeping in touch, helping me with my LinkedIn profile, and just being a great referral. So she's an expert with LinkedIn, helping her clients with lead generation and optimizing the platform to the best of its ability. Not to mention, she's a business consultant, speaker, and mentor with 30 or more years in sales experience. So with that being said, hi, Catherine. Why don't you go ahead, take the floor, tell us more about you and what you do.
Thank you so much. And, usually I can say 30 years sounds so old, but now that we have no hair dye available, household, you can really see the gray start to come out. So that makes me laugh. So yeah, I have been, let me hold on. I'm going to put on a headphone to the other live stream that we're doing because I can hear them both simultaneously.
Okay.
So I have been in sales for quite some time, and I have used that platform to be now a full-time entrepreneur and help people understand how to actually use social media as a platform to sell. And so that's just a very simplified version of what I do. A lot of that stems around my methodology, which is called the S-Cube methodology, where we really understand I teach people how to know their self so they can grow their self. We also understand why they might be online, what are their goals, what are the KPIs that they're going to measure to make sure that whatever they're doing online or in their marketing efforts actually has a positive impact on their business. We talk about who their target market is, because a lot of solos or a lot of people that are just starting out, they think that they can be all things to all people. And I work with them on really getting clear on who that target niche is. Then we go over to building engaging content and marketing, which is what you're so wonderful at, and you helped me with doing that. And then we also talk about how to take those online connections, because connections we've all seen with the influencers can be a vanity metric, because what good is a lot of followers or a lot of people on your social media platforms if you can't actually engage with them and convert them into authentic relationships or business relationships, which would be a positive result in your bank account. So that's kind of my methodology in a summary. And that's what I do, is I help people through all those different phases. And I just happen to choose LinkedIn as my platform.
That's awesome. I love how you said vanity metric. That's really an interesting way to put it, because it couldn't be more true when it comes to influencers. So what was your biggest fear about being an entrepreneur? I remember a few months ago, you called me like the day you quit your day job and you were freaking out. Tell me, what was that like? What goal did you have to reach in order to make that all happen in your head?
So that's really interesting. So that day I had actually, everybody probably has an inside voice, right? Like you look at somebody and you're like, oh, that outfit looks good on you. And you're really saying that you look like shit, but you're really saying it looks good. So on this certain day that Crystal's talking about, my inside voice actually came out to my employer. And I said, I'm like, this insanity stops. We're going to turn this conversation into a positive conversation, which is an exit strategy for me. And after I said those words, I was like, oh no, what in the world did I just do? Like, I just told my employer that I want to leave, that I need an exit strategy. So I was really freaking out. So fast forward, COVID-19 hit, they actually eliminated my entire department. So
Yes.
it happened. But the act of it actually happening was way easier than that emotional release that I had to do back in late February. So thank goodness and this is not a time to joke, but I was already preparing for this pandemic in other areas. So um, it's the fear of uncertainty. It's the fear of not knowing where the next dollar is going to come from. It was the fear of no benefits. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. What's going to happen? It was all centered around fear. But because I had already been working on an exit strategy, and it was a plan that I had because I was so unhappy in my day job. When it actually happened, I didn't miss a beat. It wasn't like I woke up and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? No, the things that Crystal and I had worked on in the past, the strategies we had put in place, the content we had repositioned, it all kind of came to a head, and I just picked up that success that we had already, and I just kept running with it. So I always say to people in sales is that where you are today in sales is really an indicator of what you were doing 90 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you always need to be generating leads and doing deliverables. So it has to be an equality of the two, right? And so that's what I was doing. And since I generation, maybe for me it was a little bit easier, but it's my problem now is not a lead generation problem. Mine now is a fulfillment problem and a proposal generating problem. So I have a new problem today.
I really look up to you for, letting your inside voice come out, just because I was in this position where I just hated my day job and I just held it in for so long, and I just kept pushing it down because eventually I told myself, I'll blurt it out eventually, but today's not the day. And I ended up getting laid off, and that just worked out perfectly for me because I was able to leave on a peaceful note.
Yeah.
And I think if it didn't happen when it did, I was going to let my inside voice come out eventually. So I really look up to you for, just being honest and just getting it out there. And now you're happier than ever. So that's awesome. And you
I am.
already,
And well, what I was going to say is that, I used to wake up and it was like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this again. Like and I'm a really big morning routine person where I make my bed, I meditate, I journal, I do my 3 gratitudes. And so the only gratitude, I could find a gratitude for my job, right? It was, thank God for the paycheck that's going to hit my bank account. That was really the only gratitude that I had. Thank goodness. And there's so many ways we live in an abundant world, right? With the US is where everybody comes to make their mark, make their money. So it's really a mindset to just let go of that and just say, I might have to go down to go up, but it's a happier place to be. It's
yeah,
really a happier place to be. So now I'm afraid, there's a different fear when I wake up, but
of course.
it's not one of dread. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's here. Like
Yeah.
it's now.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. I love that. So you kind of already talked about how you're having to pivot your business right now. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little more? Like, what are you currently doing to kind of connect with people during this time of uncertainty and social distancing?
Well, for me, it was an easy opportunity because of my persona and who I am. So I give. I have friends that maybe they get into some MLM company, and I'm like, okay, hit me up. Well, I'm not going to be on your team, but I'm going to support you to get to wherever you need to be because that's the kind of person I am. Or in my LinkedIn lead gen, I get on the phone with people and I just try to help them solve whatever problem we can solve in that conversation. So I'm always a giver. And so during this time, I decided to do just like what you're doing. It was really interesting. We decided at the same time to do a whole series of live streams.
Yeah.
So I have surrounded myself through mentors and coaches and really intelligent people. So I'm like, how can I bring those people into my world, interview them, help pull out some nuggets of information so that people can actually thrive and not survive. Like this isn't a time to just wake up and go, oh, you know, what do I have to do today to just make it through the day? Like that kind of a mindset isn't going to really support you to catapult you into success in the future. But if you wake up and you say, what can I control today? And what's one thing I can get better at today than yesterday? Then that's more of an abundant mindset that will help you thrive. So I've assembled people that just throw down tidbits and takeaways that they can implement into their business today to help them thrive. So that's really what I've done to give back. And I've also, some of my clients that I have now, I don't, you know, I work on retainer, and because I'm in the new phase of my full-time entrepreneurship, I'm still doing some trading dollars, time for dollars. So I'm not even turning on my timer. I'm like, you know what? Let's just get through this project and make sure you're successful and make sure that you can move on to thrive. And we'll worry about it when the world comes back to where it is. So those are some of the ways that I've given back to both the community and to my clients.
That's great. Yeah, right now is the perfect time to just be giving value. Like, you don't have to be selling, but just giving value. So when all of this is over, people are going to be more ready to buy from you. So that's really great.
Yes. I would encourage everybody to have an educational content strategy. So not just a content strategy, but really what message am I trying to get out? What's my intention for this message, and how can I deliver it in a manner that my customers are actually picking up information? So, you know, there's an overarching content strategy, but right now numbers have shown that education, online courses, blogs, people are consuming so much content right now.
Yeah.
It's just a good time to have that strategy, right? What am I going to do? Don't just throw stuff out, but really have a strategy about what your target market might need right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now is the perfect time to just take a step back, think about the issues that your current or past clients have had, and just build content from that. Like, educate them how to solve those problems, show them that you know what you're talking about. So I know one of your biggest specialties is LinkedIn generation. Tell us more about that. Maybe give us a tip that would help people to optimize their profile better. I know you've really helped me. Like a couple months ago, you sent me this whole list of things I should change on my LinkedIn, and it was so helpful to see that, because it's things that me, like a normal person, wouldn't necessarily think of when they don't really use LinkedIn. So
yeah, so tips, and you guys can always look at my blog that Crystal's written most of for me, but so if you're, LinkedIn is a platform that of course is really great B2B, right? You can do some B2C there as well, but I'm a proponent of B2B connection networking on LinkedIn. And so just like I have this loud background in my in-home studio, your banner behind your head needs to be a representation of your personal brand, of who you are. So I know Crystal likes to travel, right? I can see in the back, she's got a flag and some things that might tell a little bit of a story about her, what she's done, where she's been. The same with my background. The same should be with your background behind you. It needs to be a little bit of an inside story of your personal brand. And that's the first thing that people see, right? When they see your picture, we're visual creatures. So there needs to be some type of a call to action on that banner behind your head. It could be a short slogan. It could be a call me today. It could be, maybe you're launching a book, so you want to have the book cover, and you need to understand through both mobile and PC where your head is going to be in the cutout of the background so that you can optimize that image so that it's just to the left or it's just above. And I have, I think on my Instagram account, I have the images, but we can also send you mobile and PC where that content needs to be, or the messaging call to action needs to be on your banner. So that's one thing that's very important. Don't miss out on that opportunity to have free real estate to market your services. And then of course, everybody knows that you need to have a really high quality headshot. That could be a cell phone shot today, right? But also that image needs to be, once again, I'm driving back to that personal brand. It needs to be who you are. So it doesn't need to be you in a sexy outfit if you're a school teacher. You know, it doesn't need to be you being goofy if you're in finance. You know, it needs to be in line with the brand and the service that you're offering, because once again, LinkedIn is a professional platform. You know, some people like to put their kids on in their image. I'm not a proponent of sharing your children on LinkedIn. And we're not going to talk about the stories, but I've had some stalkers and some crazy people.
Oh, geez.
Talk about cyberbullying. There are some freaks also. There's freaks in the world. Well, those freaks also happen to have jobs and they're on LinkedIn. So keep your kids off of LinkedIn. But anyway, so professional shot, not of you at a party, not of you with your arm around somebody, guys, and you're cutting out your significant other so that you can have a picture. Not your image from your wedding, which was 3 years ago, and it's the only photo that you have. Like stand against a white wall in your house today, take a nice picture and get it up there. Something's better than nothing. Okay, so those are two things. Then the next thing that we would want to talk about would be the title, which is the headline under your name. And so some people have a hard time with this because let's say that they're the CEO of their company, and CEO meaning they're a solopreneur, so they're the chief executive officer of themselves. And so they want that title to be up there, or they want that founder title to be up there. And while it's important, because people might want to know who the decision maker is, it's more important to talk about who you serve, what you do for them, and what the outcome is of working with you. So if you can answer those 3 questions in your headline, and I have a whole video series on just doing your headline. If you can answer those questions, then when people see you online and they're scrolling quickly, or they get a connection request, they can just look at the headline really quick and they can say, oh, okay, I want to talk to this person. You know, and it should be unique. When, you know, I have B2B lead gen right now on my headline, but that's going to come down because while that is something that I do, and it's one of the services that we provide, the market is getting flooded right now with so many people from so many countries that do B2B lead gen. If I send a connection request and somebody goes, another B2B lead gen person, like, get away from me, you know, those are just things to think about, right? What's the impression that you're going to give when you send a connection request to somebody? Because that's the first thing they're going to see is the headline, the picture, and the banner behind your head. So then the next thing that I would recommend when you think about writing your about section, let me even just say, there's 142 characters that you can put. 142? I need to open it. Let's just go with that number for now. It used to be 200 and they changed it. That's the number of characters, 120 characters that you can put in your headline. And there's 2,000 characters that you can put in your about section. So you need to use up 2,000 of those characters. And those characters need to talk about the value that you're going to deliver to your customer. So you've studied content marketing. And you've studied talking about people. So you really need to have an idea of the person, one person that you're selling to. that's going to look for you on LinkedIn. And you need to think about, like, let's just say the top 3 problems that they have. So Crystal, for you, what are the top 3 problems that your ideal customer has?
Well, they're overwhelmed. Um, they might not have enough time to be creating content, and probably they just don't know what kind of marketing funnel to put into place.
Okay. So I would ask, the first 2 lines on your about section are what shows up when your profile shows up. So those first 2 lines need to have enough information to make the person want to click the learn more, right? Or expand or see more is what it says.
Yeah.
So I recommend to people to put their telephone number or how you want them to contact you on that first part, because if they read something about you quickly, or you're out there and you're being seen, and they go to your LinkedIn profile, they click your little picture and it takes it, and they wanted to reach out to you, then quickly they can just call you or email you. So that's one of the first things I recommend on the first line. But then as you go down into writing those 2,000 characters, you want to ask some questions like, are you having trouble? Do you feel overwhelmed when it comes to content marketing?
Yeah.
Do you have an effective funnel that you feel good about? Do you feel overwhelmed with all the different things you need to do in your business to actually make it happen? If you answered yes to these 3 questions, then I have a solution for you. Hi, my name is Crystal. I am an online business manager. Now, here's another thing that I talked to Crystal about a little bit. Before I met her, I had no idea what the acronyms OBM meant. I'm like, OBM? So don't assume that the person, like, I didn't even know an online business manager existed. So don't assume in your niche that the acronyms and the words that you're using are actually, your person may not know what they don't know, and they may not even know that you exist. So you really need to tell them what it is that you can do to solve the problem. So be aware of not using acronyms. So I'm an online business manager. What's an online business manager, you ask? Well, I blah, 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 and you will blah, 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 blah. So you started to frame, and they're reading, and then you're not going to say in your about section, so what I tell people to do is I say, look at your about section and count how many I's you have in there, and then count how many U's you have in there. And the U's need to win, because you're not throwing up all over your about section about your degree and what you've done and all of those things. They can see that in a comprehensive package. If you have the testimonials, if you have the recommendations, they can see that in the whole profile. So you need to spend time talking to them. What is it that they're going to get? What are the statistics? There's different people learn in different ways. So is your target market, the person that you're after, are on the DISC profile? Are they a D? Are they an I? Are they an S? Are they a C? If you're that advanced in understanding your persona, write to that person. What do they need to hear from you to push them over the edge to hire you? Like, my clients see a 435% return on investment from working with me. Click this link and download my case studies. Something to give them enough information. And the whole content marketing, the first thing you're doing is you're building awareness. So what can you do to educate them to make them want to pick up the phone and call you? So that's what I recommend to concentrate on when you're doing your about section.
That's amazing. Amazing. I need to be taking notes during this. That was amazing. I loved how I was just able to tell you, a couple struggles that my clients have come to me with, and you were just able to turn that right around and have this whole about section pretty much laid out for me. So thank you. That was so incredible. I love it. So I see some new people have joined us on Facebook. I just wanted to give a quick shout out. and say, this is Catherine, the social selling maven, and we're discussing how she's handling COVID-19, what it's like being an entrepreneur, some amazing LinkedIn tips. And next, I wanted her to just briefly explain, what does social selling mean? Because I know you call yourself a social selling maven, and a lot of people just don't know what that term means. So can you dive a little bit into that?
Yeah. So, have you guys ever received a LinkedIn message that you says, uh, we we are a law firm and we do injury law and we want your business and you should contact us because we're the best, and here's our number and here's how many years we've been in business, et cetera, et cetera. Or recruiters, I have a job for you, I think you'd be the best fit, we've been in business for 30 years, blah, 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 blah. So people are just, and I hate to keep using the term throw up, but people are just throwing up in your messenger inbox, right, on LinkedIn, or on any other social platform. And so social selling is about using a social network, a social platform, that and building a relationship with your network, building an online authority, a digital footprint that's representative and worthy of the top of mind awareness of your target market. And then taking that customer on a journey through building an authentic relationship with them, just like, let's say, you were going to meet them at a networking event or at a cocktail party. So it would go something like this. So before you sent an outbound connection request to Crystal, you would go look at her LinkedIn profile, and you would see that she's an online business manager, and you would see that she does a travel blog. Do you still have that on there?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And so if you wanted to connect with her, you would say, hey, Crystal, I read your profile. I love to travel. I'm not sure what an online business manager is, but I'd like to find out more. I'm hoping we can connect. Right? So that was a personalized message. I have this framework that I call the PACE, right? You want to personalize, you want to add value, and you want to create engagement. So you're really personalizing, you're using the social platform to engage with your person, you're building an authentic relationship, and you're trying to see if there's something that you can mutually benefit from this relationship. So that's what social selling is. I just kind of gave an example instead of a canned definition. So you're using the platform to prospect and to engage, and then to sell. And that's a soft sell. So I'm a soft seller in general. So I found that social selling was just a natural way for me to sell to people, because it's about really understanding about them before you can't sell to somebody until you absolutely are certain that they have a problem.
Yeah.
And maybe they have a problem, but they have no money. So then they're still not going to be a prospect for you, but that's when you can just add value and help them. So why waste your time and energy on this huge net of sending tons of information out when you could really take your energy and do targeted strategy at, let's say, 50 leads versus 5,000 leads, and build those authentic connections with them, and create this friendship, because maybe they aren't ready for your services today, but they might have 8,000 people on LinkedIn and they can help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
So that's social selling.
All right. That's
and
really
it's bigger than that, but that was just a simple example.
Yeah, I'm sure that's even just super helpful for a lot of people, because I know, like, when I first met you, I was like, social selling, what does that really mean? So that was really helpful. So enough about business stuff. What other things do you do for fun outside of running your business and being an entrepreneur?
So outside of a pandemic,
Yes.
I love to be outside. So, well, actually, even during this time, I have been doing a lot of long walks and listening to podcasts or online courses. So I've been walking up to 21,000 steps a day. to
Nice.
just get out and with nature. I have a horse, so it's therapeutic for me to go just love on her and kiss on her and brush her and be with her and ride her or walk with her. I live in San Diego, really close to the beach, so I go to the beach and I walk and I breathe in the seawater and just enjoy. And I have 2 kids, and one of them wants to be a chef, so we do a lot of cooking in my house.
Ooh, that sounds.
And I do have to admit, my theme behind me with tequila and margaritas gives you a little insight that I love to drink. I'm a big wine. It could be wine is my go-to alcohol, but yeah, I enjoy the social aspect of drinking. But my dog is a perfect social companion if I need a glass of wine at the end of the day. So,
There you go.
and I travel. So yeah, I don't know the exact number of countries that I've been to. There's a few I don't even want to go to, but I have lived in France, in the south of France. I have plane tickets right now. I was taking my kids. We were going to live in Europe for the summer. So that was my goal. So my goal to be an entrepreneur was that I wanted to leave the corporate world because I want to live where I want, when I want, and work when I want and where I want. So we have tickets to leave to Spain on June 15th, and we were coming home from Portugal in August. So I haven't changed those plans yet, but I have a feeling that I'll be changing them. Might need to put that off a year, but that's what I love to do.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to be actually today, I was supposed to leaving to go to Kansas City, Missouri for a conference. And then from that conference, I was supposed to be driving to all these states that I have left to go to. Like, I don't know if you knew, but I'm trying to mark off all 50 states before I'm 30. And I'm almost there, almost there. I have like one more year that I need to like get all this stuff. I need to travel to all these states. So I planned like this whole big road trip. I was going to be gone until like May 10th, just driving around to all these states, and I had to cancel everything. So yeah.
Well, you could still drive and you might be able to get through them a lot faster. So you could do that. You know, have you read that the people are doing that cannonball run where they're putting extra gas tanks in the trunks of their cars and they're driving from New York to California in record time to see how fast they can get there? It's like called a cannonball run or something. You'll have to look it up.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and they're doing speeds of like 100 to 140 miles per hour the whole time. And they're trying to see how fast they can make it coast to coast. So
that sounds fun, actually.
You could do a cannonball run. I'm just saying, it's a thing.
I wouldn't want to be stopping in public bathrooms and stuff. Like, I don't know. We'll wait it out a little bit longer. So anyways, if anyone has any questions for Catherine or myself, please comment right now so we can answer them live. Otherwise, we'll answer them as soon as we can after the interview. In the meantime, I wanted to have some fun and just ask you some really rapid fire questions, and you have to say the first thing that come to mind.
Okay.
So first one.
Wait, one more sip of caffeine before that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so this might be an easy one. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would it be?
France.
Okay, I kind of knew that one. And what is your favorite type of food?
Mexican.
Mine too. That's the one thing I'm missing right now is going out to a Mexican restaurant. Like for Cinco, that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to order in.
I'll FedEx some stuff to you.
Okay.
Our restaurants are open. Yeah.
What is something our audience should do at least once in their life? Like, what have you done that you would highly recommend to everyone else out there?
Run a marathon.
Oh, I like that. And what is your favorite type of drink?
Red wine.
Sweet or dry? Or?
So what I really like is, and these are my my significant other's words, is a really nice Pinot Noir that is heavy and fruit forward. So it's probably from Carneros or somewhere where the earth is really rich. So I like those. I like some of the northern Italian reds as well that are really, really rich, and they come from the colder area. So those are my favorite reds. And I don't drink Chardonnays. No.
No, me neither. Lastly, what is your favorite city or country?
I'm going to be boring. So my son's name is Sebastian. And that's because when I lived in the south of France, my favorite city at a young age, I was your age. I think I was 29 when I was living there. So my favorite city there was San Sebastian, because I was so into the culture and the vibrance of that city. And they have this evening time where have an echo again, where they have tapas in the evening, and it's just a beautiful little area. The whole Basque country is just beautiful. So my son's name is Sebastian, after San Sebastian. I loved when I lived there. I read The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway, and all of that takes place in that area of the country. So I just like to read it and close my eyes and feel being there, and the stories that we can make, and the Basque people in the country, and the cheese and the festivals, and it's just a wonderful area to live in. I'm looking for apartments there now.
That's awesome. I love that. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us during this lunch hour. It looks like there's no questions. Oh, I see my friend Fawn saying, bummed you won't be around. That's right. I was supposed to, today when I was going to leave for Kansas City, I was going to drive by her place in South Dakota and say hello. So that's not happening.
Oh.
But anyways, if there's no further questions, then be sure to follow Catherine and her team on social media. We'll put the links in the comments. Stay tuned for next week's live stream, which is actually our very first cooking class. So it's taking place at 7 p.m. Eastern on May 7th. You'll learn how to cook a delicious recipe with our Epicure consultant in our group, Christina. So be sure to join the Facebook group, Monetize Your Passion Society, if you haven't already, in order to watch and get all the details beforehand. It's going to be so fun.